Hey, it's Romania Black, and we are, God, how we are on Deluxe Volume 14 of Berserk, I don't know. It seems like we just started this series. I feel like I just started the 1997 anime like a month ago, and we're already here. I'm gonna say this is a noticeably smaller deluxe volume than volume 13, which makes sense because it only has volumes 40, 41, and then the guidebook in it. I still have not decided. As of right now, I almost feel like I want to read the guidebook before doing volume 42 because volume 42 is going to be Mori's take. So I almost feel like I need to just go through this in its entirety as it is and then do volume 44. I just feel like that seems the most, but again, I'm still up in the air about it, so I'll probably have to think about it a little bit more. But yeah, so Griffith cosplay, Shirk cosplay are probably going to come into play with volumes 41 and 42. I haven't decided which one. It'll probably depend on what happens in this volume because I thought about Shirk, but then I'm like, I don't know, because when we last left off, Shirk and Farnese were helping Casca find all the missing pieces so that she can become whole again. A very, 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 very symbolically driven storyline that's effective. I love that the doll in the coffin was creepy. The doll in the coffin was very spooky. I really like the concept of them piecing it back together. I think if that metaphor hadn't been used by so many commenters over the course of me reading the manga, I would have been more surprised by it. But when it happened, I was like, oh, that's what people talk about. Because a lot of people in the comments were like, Casca's like a doll. She's like a broken doll. And so then when we saw the symbolism of the broken doll, I was like, oh, well, you all have read the manga. So, of course, you know the symbolism. And you're telling me ahead of time. So, but that's fine. I love the concept, though, of Guts as the dog dragging the casket. Guts dragging the casket as the dog with the chain, and the casket has the band of the hawk on it. That symbolism I was not expecting, and I was like, oh, that's really freaking cool. I love that. And the fact that we've called Guts a mad dog and we've had the Beast of Darkness, but yet here he is dragging the casket not being a Beast of Darkness. It's great. But yeah, this feels like it's not going to take long to get through, which is crazy to me. We shall see, though. We shall see. I'll get my camera organized here in a second. I've got a couple comments that I want to go through. First, I want to talk about Chronicle Intel. They noted back in volume 35, and I was just now seeing it today, that Shirk, I made fun of the bird in volume 20 and volume 35 as being kind of like a character from Attack on Titan. And I was like, oh, but they noticed very intelligently that it was calling back to Shirk warging from volume 22. And she was doing that here while they were on the seas. So she was warging into the bird. That's why the bird was so expressive. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Volumes 21 through 25, volume 24, I remember very distinctly because there's a lot going on in 24. 21 through 23 and 25, don't quite remember a lot of. I've blocked a lot of those volumes out, but volume 24, I remember a lot of. So that does make sense. So thank you for pointing that out. Moomin, if you all get a chance to, if you're on Patreon, Moomin had a really cool comment for volume 36 where they talked about the sea creatures that Miura makes reference to. A lot of it being that Miura just scaled up the size, which I was talking to Moomin about it. Honestly, a lot of the creatures that are real in our own world are terrifying enough. Just make them bigger, and that's all you have to do. Then they'll be so scary. So I thought that was really cool to note that. But they have like a whole list of all the ones that are featured. So definitely check that out. Also, both Moomin and Alex Cornejo talk about this, but I'm going to talk about Moomin's comment first. The idea of all of the eyes from the belly of the sea god that Guts saw is very akin to the multiple eyes that Griffith saw with the demon he was fighting during the eclipse, which is a really good parallel, which I thought was good to point out. And that kind of ties to Alex Cornejo. Alex Cornejo talked about Pirate Jenny is a song by the Three Penny Opera. It's a pirate song that Miura may or may not have drawn inspiration from, but they pointed out in their comment on volume 36 that there are a lot of comparisons from the lyrics of that opera to the events happening in the manga at the time of volume 36, particularly with Yzma's character, it just gets a little bit tweaked. But there are a lot of similarities. And I thought that was really cool. So definitely go check that out. Moomin and Alex Cornejo have a lot of really cool links on those comments if you want to go see those. So I definitely recommend it. But then they were talking about like how far we think the story is done, because we only have this deluxe volume left, and then we have Mori's section. As far as where we're at, like with the hero's journey, I feel like if Casca gets her mind back, that will be like the 3/4 of the way mark in the story, because you've set up the conflict. The eclipse, if you're looking at it like a clock, and you have the clock, split into 4 parts. The end of the first quarter was the eclipse, Casca losing her mind, all of this happening. And then the next part was basically leading up to the conviction arc and ending with Guts being at his lowest point and all that in volume 23 and going from there. And then from volumes 24 to now has been this kind of upward swing where our characters have picked themselves up from the bottom and they've swung the pendulum back around. And Alex Cornejo is pointing out that, you have Griffith, who's been building and building and building and building to his invulnerable seeming state, and he's at the highest he could possibly be. And then you've got Guts building and building and building along with the others, and they're getting to kind of their peak moments. To me, it would make sense if Casca gets her mind back, then they have to come up with a game plan. Okay, what do we do now? And that's going to lead us to the final arc of the story, which is interesting. I think Alex pointed out something that was really cool is you have the idea of Griffith destroying the towering demon from the inside. Guts destroyed the monster from within. Griffith had help from the God Hand. Guts had help from the 4 cardinal posts along with Shirk, which is, akin to the God Hand. So I thought that was really, really interesting. Although that would kind of make Shirk more like Griffith. Since Guts is not supernatural, do whatever you want with that. I don't know. I talked about this with Alex Cornejo, but I don't want Miura, and I know that we'll get to volume 42, and then it's kind of a waiting game with Mori, and I'll probably talk about this in my video essay. I don't want Miura to give this story I don't want it to devolve into shonen schlock, because you've set this up where Griffith is going down this one very traditional pathway, and I want Griffith to have his comeuppance and bear responsibility, but it would be almost so nuanced and kind of revolutionary for Miura if it wasn't Guts that caused his downfall. If it was maybe, my envision would be that his beautiful shining city caves in on himself. Like it all just, the pandemonium arena, everything that he's trying to hide, Sonya and Mule's trust, the trust of all of the Midlands. I want it to all just basically collapse within itself. And everything Griffith thought he had, I want it to just all collapse within and just barricade him. And obviously he'll live through it because he's a God Hand, but I want it to all crumble. I don't want him to get his way. I want it to all like rot from within, and then he's left with just this mess. Now, obviously the problem with that is that Charlotte and the others would all suffer. And Luca and the others. So we can't have that happen, but maybe they could get out like, I don't know, you allowed Erica and Rickard to get out. Let the other important people get out, and then it'll all collapse from within. But I would love that. I would also love, because my thing is, at this point in the story, Guts has spent the entire story proving he doesn't have to get revenge on Griffith. He doesn't have to go fight Griffith. He doesn't need to fight Griffith. The whole point that I never thought this story would take is proving that Guts can just be happy with Casca and the others and move on. He doesn't have to involve Griffith in his life and put him on this pedestal. And Guts has moved on past that. So I don't know right now how I feel about the idea of Guts having to go back and fight him. I'm like, but didn't we just spend the entire story, like 30 years of manga, getting us to a point where Guts doesn't have to worry about Griffith, and now we're gonna have to worry about him? Because I'm like, you've made Griffith up to be nigh invincible. The only chance that he could not be invincible is because of the baby, which I'm sure they'll tie that in and be like, oh, Guts, you can destroy Griffith because your son's vessel's inside of Griffith. And it's like, oh, okay. And it's a hard task. I'll probably talk about this in the video, but the third act of an action story is the hardest to pull off. And most people don't do it. Most people just can't get it the way they probably want it to. I think of Lord of the Rings. I think of Attack on Titan. I think of a lot of other series that are nigh near perfect, but there's that third act that you're like, you're just like, and you're always going to make someone mad. You're going to make someone mad because especially in a story that you've been crafting for 30 years, your audience has had all this time to come up with an ending of their own and how they think you're going to complete it. And if you don't stick the landing how your audience thinks you're going to stick it, then they're going to be pissed. It's not going to matter. And honestly, I can count on one hand the amount of series I've watched that ended where I went, I don't think it could have ended any better. And there's only like one hand where I can say that. All the other series I've watched have been like, that could have ended better, but it's fine. And a couple I was like, what the hell was that? So I don't know with Berserk. I feel bad for Mori, essentially. I feel so bad for him because what a task to take on. And I'm sure that Miura wanted him to do it, but way to give your bestie like a shadow to fall under. Be like, here, friend, finish the story for me. So I don't know. I will obviously at the end of volume 42 be making predictions of what I think is going to happen, and I'm going to keep looking forward to Mori's story and what he does with it, because cheers to you for having the hardest job of anyone in the manga industry right now. I can't think of anybody in the manga industry that has a more challenging task than for you to take on one of the most popular series in the last 30 years. And here's the thing, and I was going to talk about this in the video, but I'll bring it up now and repeat it there. But Mori's going to get all the blame. It wouldn't matter if Miura hand wrote every single panel, inch by inch, of how he wanted it to look on the last chapter. It wouldn't matter. If the fandom isn't happy with it, they're not going to blame Miura. They're going to blame Mori and say it's his fault for ruining the franchise or whatever. And that sucks so much because Mori's like, I'm just doing what my best friend told me to do. I don't know what y'all want. So that's going to suck so much. I feel for him. I want to give him the biggest hug because bless him. That is, from what I've seen of the fandom, I wouldn't take it on. I'd be like, you were my best friend, but we're just going to let this go and just stop it right here and call it good. And let the fan fictions fix the rest of it. Oh my God. But I don't know. You know what? We still got 3 volumes and a guidebook, so we still got a ways to go. So that's all right. But I am super excited to dive into this volume and see what we get. But I don't know. It feels so light, and I wasn't expecting it to feel so light at this point. Then I'm like, oh, what is happening? And I'm like, are we going to? The thing that's also crazy about this is Miura's last 2 volumes, which he did these volumes. Volume 40 was in 2018, which was right the year after volume 39. So it was pretty much in succession. But then volume 41 didn't come out until 2021. So there was a little bit of a time skip there in terms of when it was published. So I don't know what to think about that. And I've not been able to do my video for it yet because I didn't want to jump into spoilers and then read something and have been like, well, when this happened in the story, and it'd be like, oh no. So that'll be interesting to research and kind of look into as we get to researching all that. So yay. But any case, I am super excited to dive into this. I don't know if we're just going to stick around with Guts and the others in Elfhelm the rest of this volume, or if we're going to go back and see Griffith before Mori takes over. I don't know. I just don't know. But I've spent almost 15 minutes. There are some posters. We're gonna ignore those because those are not to be viewed. But we're gonna see here what we get, and I'm just gonna skip the posters because who wants to do that? Oh wow. So buddy. Okay, we're gonna look at this and go ahead and talk about it here in 3, 2, 1. As I reposition the camera, I want to point out a couple things. One, there is the dog. There is the dog that's Guts with the Berserker armor, which is freaking cool. I really like that. There's the Fief Lord there. and another one there, another demon there, and the eclipse. So we're going to get into the eclipse, like has been foreshadowed the last several chapters. I love the Berserker armor, and the dog looks like it's howling at the moon. Of course, this is Guts' most traumatic moment. What's interesting is he always goes back. I will give Guts credit for this. He always goes back as the most traumatic moment is losing all of his friends and Casca being assaulted. He never really goes back to his own experience, which I wanted to talk about this in the video essay as well, and I know Miura's not experienced any assault himself, so he can't understand how that experience works. But typically, you know, if you've experienced that, it's always a part of you and it sticks with you no matter where you go. And so it's always interesting to me to think that Guts never really dwells on it. It's like he gets a certain point and he's like, not worried about it anymore. And I almost wish to an extent that Miura had him maybe talk a little bit more about it, but then that would also go to me wanting him to flesh out Casca's character more so that her and Guts could have more meaningful conversations throughout the rest of the story, but we didn't get that, so oh well. But this first volume is only 170 pages. It's so small in comparison. No! And then the other volume is only like 150 pages. Oh no. And I'm assuming that's because then Miura passed and the chapters were done. So, uh-oh. Oh no. Okay. Cool. Great. Wonderful. Okay. That makes me really sad. That really hits hard. I'm like, oh wow, this is not going to be very long of a reaction probably. Or maybe it will be. Maybe all the things will happen. Who knows? But that's really sad. It's very sad. I thought for a hot second with the character pages, that we were going to go back to a Griffith chapter. And I was going to be like, son of a bitch, no! Not now! We do have Danan, who's brought up here. Elfhelm's ruler, spoken of in legend as the flower storm monarch. She can perform the Corridor of Dreams ritual, a means of restoring someone's mind. So I want to say this first and foremost, as many of you have probably commented in the last volume, and as I told my moderators, I was like, guess what, moderators? I read volume 39 and had the biggest foot and mouth moment in recent memory. And I told them, I was like, oh, Miura's so sexist with Danan. And then Miura's like, actually, she's like the goddess of the entire forest. And I'm like, what? So yeah, you know, occasionally we're all human. Occasionally we put our feet in our mouths, and occasionally we're wrong. And I'm not above admitting I'm wrong. So I was very wrong about Danan. So I was like, damn it, son of a bitch, Miura, you got me. You got me, Miura. You were baiting me. And it worked. All right. Oh, wow. Oh, so it's like her little thing. Oh, that was in the last volume with the little mud man. I'm not going to read the table of contents. I almost looked over it. I was like, what am I doing? I do want to read the little thing. Guts' party reach Elf Island and have an audience with the Flower Storm monarch, who is said to have a way of restoring minds. Shirk and Farnace are selected for the ritual, and they make their way through the Corridor of Dreams and down into a world deep within Casca's psyche. But this turns out to be a wasteland dimly lit by a black sun. Shirk and Farnace fend off monsters and attack as they gather fragments of Casca's memories, all the while guided towards their miasma-enshrouded final destination. I want to say a couple things. One is that there is a little part of me that wishes Guts had been able to go. Only because I wish Guts could have seen how much of an impact he has on Casca. Like, she views him as the one carrying her around with him, as kind of not a white knight like Griffith on the horse, but as this mad dog that's dragging along her corpse, trying, which essentially that's what Miura is describing her as, is this broken corpse. And it's like, oh my God. I wish he could have seen that. I get why he doesn't need to be there. That makes so much sense. But I really wish we could see Farnace and Shirk describing to him what was in her mind, and the fact that the black sun lights everything is just showcasing what is encompassing her entire being. So anyway, The forest of corpses and thorned cedars. Ooh, like a thorn tree. In where I live, we have lots of thorn trees. And you never, if you're a farmer or someone that lives in a rural area, thorn trees are the worst. One, because they're very hard to get rid of. They're like weeds. You have to like pull them out at the roots. They're covered in thorns. Thus, that makes it very difficult. And they don't ever grow flowers or anything. So they're just there in the way. They're just a nuisance. Oh, wow. And the trees have like, the thorns have like gone through and impaled all of these corpses. Yeah, I like they're both covering their mouths like, this is horrifying. I would faint right now if I were unaware this is a dream. Yeah, gross. I wonder if that's going to be tied. Oh, look at that shot. The petals are leading us to the summit of that mountain. So the Mountain of Needles. The Mountain of Needles are trees that are thorn trees, and they're all impaling all of these corpses, like for the sacrifice. Okay, Miura, I'm into that imagery. I'm into that imagery a lot, actually. I really, really like that. Also Farnesay with the baby Casca close to her heart. That's so cute. That's so adorable. The illustration here is gorgeous. It feels like Miura is combining his physical drawing, but the shading on it looks more digital, which is kind of cool, which is neat. I like that a lot. Again, I feel so bad for the sense that Miura wasn't able, he was working on trying new things and trying new techniques to make his art better. And it sucks that he died so soon before we could see what those techniques would have, what fruit they would have brought. So that is really sad. Oh, ew, and people impaled. Oh, Guts saving her, little dog Guts saving her from impaling herself. Our earthly bodies might be affected if we're injured in this dream. Oh, well, that's good to note. Oh, and Casca's like in her hair, like a little flea. She looks like a flea. Thank you, Guts. Yeah, the one-eyed dog. Still, what a gruesome sight this is. One must experience for such a thing to, indeed, an event traumatic enough to leave such an impression would be enough to break someone's mind. If you're scared, you'd best go back to the casket. Oh, and she hides with her instead. If things get dangerous, pull your head down inside. And Guts barking. Oh, wow. Ew. Ew. Gross. They not only look like fly larvae, which is disgusting, but they also kind of remind me of the way their mouths are of maybe, is it Ubik? They remind me a little bit of that. Gross. Oh, Lady of the Depths, Lady of the Lake. Get their nasty vomit acid away from us. Oh, I love the little golem that's protecting them. That's really cute. Oh my God. Ew, no. Don't let it get you. Oh, or get in a headlock. We're outnumbered. The golem can't hold them off alone. Well, they're behind us as well. This way, rate will be surrounded. To get through this, we need a tree root. Oh, it's the... Oh, okay, Rotting Root Lord. Yes! Didn't she get a hold of him like back, like one of the first things she did at the village? Isn't that right? Good. I'm glad Miura made a callback with that. Yes, Rot. She looked so badass when she said Rot that time. Absolutely. And the Wheel of Flame. I mean, honestly, girl, I'd be like a damn Cyndaquil. Use that flame. Use that... What is it? Fire Spin or Flame Wheel? I think, what is the Cyndaquil's evolution in Pokemon? Uses Flame Wheel. Yeah, use that sucker every time. Oh my gosh. And then it shows like all the bugs. Yeah, and like all the... Ew! Like the horn beetles are like, have dog bodies. What the fudge? Why? That's so creepy. And Guts biting the one monster. Oh. Ew, the fact that you can see their veins like all over them too. Okay, can we talk about this for a hot second? The monsters that the golem are fighting on this page whose heads, arms, and legs look like the heads of penises. Is anybody else seeing that? Does anyone else notice that? Is anybody else seeing that? I'm seeing that. I don't know if that's in the veins and everything. I mean, if you're going for drawing something nightmarish based on Casca's experiences, then that definitely would be something nightmarish and makes sense. But I also like that Farnesay and Shirk are covered in like dirt and everything. I like Farnesay's covering up Casca like, it's okay, don't worry. I'm not gonna let you drop. We'll make the foot of the mountain once we're clear of these field of entrails. Let's keep going. Wow, and us all of them fighting. Creepy. The dog dragging the casket with the chain is still one of my favorite visuals. I freaking love it. It's so damn good. With the thorn cedars growing that close together. Large monsters shouldn't be able to follow us. Well, shouldn't be able to. Look at yeah, they look like penis monsters. I don't know how else to describe it. Oh. There's nothing my thorn snakes can do against such large foes, but this. Oh! Oh! Swift as heaven's vengeance! Oh wow. So Farnesay can just use like something previously from the Holy See, and that's interesting. She can use Mosgus as literally a fetish. Okay. I think it's ridiculously ironic that Griffith's like seal is on Mosgus and she's able to use him. I think that the irony is not lost on me, and they're using it where the eclipse is happening. Wow, okay. If you were a fan of Mosgus and you wanted to see more of him, I guess here's your chance. Wow, God press. Farnesay, what is that? I brought it with me from my dream. Okay. And now climb up the mountain. With the golems. Oh, I love her just tossing out the golems like they're little like pet, like little tic tacs, and they just all grow and everything. That's really cool. The branches are stretching. The further we advance, the more hostile the world grows. Yeah, because it's basically like the worst part of Casca's memory, and her memories have developed this wall to keep you from getting into that memory because it's so bad, because it's so traumatizing. She doesn't want to experience it again. And here we go. Yep. The dreamer is trying to obstruct us to keep from waking up. Wow. And it looks like a throne. It looks like a throne with an egg. Is it an egg or a mirror? I could see it being like a mirror and it's going to reflect her in it, but I could also see it being a throne and there's Griffith on the throne, maybe. I don't know. Is it weird that Miura makes the dog look like Guts? Is that weird? It feels like 101 Dalmatians thing, where, you know, the beginning of 101 Dalmatians, they show all the people walking with their dogs and their dogs look like the people. It looks just like that. It looks like Guts looks like that damn dog. Uh-huh. The final fragment. Ew, and it's inside of the egg? Nope. Inside of that, huh? And of course, Guts is barking at it. Main culprits. Ooh. I don't know if I like that title. I don't know what it's suggesting. Oh. And Casca's shaking. Well, this is her worst memory. And Guts howling. Oh, little baby Casca's so cute. Oh, well, or that giant ass bird. It looks like Daiba's ride, but is it supposed to be Femto? Because it has the crook of that. Wow, and it just like takes up the whole damn page. Ugh. Yeah, what is that? Yep. The guardian of the final fragment, the mightiest, the king of the monsters in this dream. Yeah, it looks like his face, like the crooked beak. And Guts is so mad. It's circling back towards us. My fetishes are back. Oh, wow. And there's the eyes and the hawk. Yep. Damn. Oh, oof. Nope, not good. What a monster. Oh, the miasma it spread is assuming some kind of shape. Ooh, oh my god. Is it a behelit? What is it going to be? Oh, nope. Those are all the demons that attacked her. She's cold. The way she's afraid it isn't normal. Well, no. No, it's not. I saw this before in Guts' memories. They are most likely the culprits responsible for shattering CASCA'S psyche. Embodiments of fear itself. Well, it wasn't only them, but they definitely are among them. Oh, all right. All my fetishes come to our aid. I love that we have the golem, we have the flame wheel, we have the water woman, we have earth, fire, wind, water. Now we just need heart. We have to break through and reach the fragment. Oh my god. Wow, and them all getting like scraped by the thorns. It's that bird. Oh my gosh, no. Oh, he's going after the coffin. No, 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 no. Oh no, Guts! No, Guts, no! Oh, Guts in the casket! If they're dropped from that height. Oh, this could work. The wind. Oh, Serpico! Oh, her using Serpico to help. Oh, well, Serpico's happy to help. He's not gonna say no to that. No. No. Oh, and using it to like cushion them from their fall. There we go. Oh, it can talk and sounds like Serpico? What? Why is that? When did that become a thing? My, you're a slave driver, Lady Farnesay. The sylph hood, well, I suppose it was amongst the laundry. I mean, this is a dream. This is a dream world. Miura can do whatever he wants in it, so that that makes sense, but how strange. Would Serpico in real life, how would he know? How would he feel knowing he was helping Guts in that moment? How would he feel? You know what? I talked about this in the comments, but it strikes me as so hilarious because I'm watching Revolutionary Girl Utena at the same time that I'm reading this. And in Revolutionary Girl, all of the younger sisters have a massive crush on their siblings, most of them being brothers. And I think it's so hilarious because you have Serpico being Farnesay's brother, and she just is like, hey, thanks for helping, but she's not even remotely interested, and he's sitting there going, all right, chopped liver it is. I just think it's hilarious, right? And they both kind of started at the same time, so funny. Oh, Guts defending the casket from Femto. Oh no! Oh, and him getting tossed into, oh my god. Him getting tossed into the thorns. Oh my god. He's trying to burst it open to attack her. To attack the doll. No. Oh. Oh, that's what that cover was. It wasn't just symbolic. Oh, the Berserker armor. So, well, that makes sense. If we've got Serpico's hood, why don't we have the Berserker armor? And it gets around him to be that way. But wouldn't that make him lash out at the doll after he was done fighting Griffith? Yeah. The Berserker. If we end up getting Guts versus Griffith represented in this dream, and that's the way that it happens and it doesn't happen in the actual story, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. If it happens here, this battle over CASCA'S mind, and it happens between these two here, I'm fine with that. And then it doesn't happen in the real world, Miura, I'm okay with this. You can do this. This is fine. I'm worried a little bit because the Berserker dog is supposed to be like, it's literally the Beast of Darkness, so would it turn on Casca, and is that supposed to be part of her memories? Is she remembering that moment? Oh my gosh. Oh, is that... It showed the casket being opened. So... Is that Casca over there with Femto's spirit, or what is that? The final fragment. Oh my god, it looks like we're here. We're practically here. Wow, and the dog. I like that the dog, where its tail should be, is like the cape. And then going after the demons with the sword coming out from under it. What? This feels so, like, not revisionist history, but it feels like if Guts had the Berserker armor during the eclipse, I mean, the what ifs are impossible to number, but that's so crazy. I don't know exactly what this is supposed to be that he's doing with the sword and everything, what that's supposed to be. It's an odd drawing, Miura. Oh, I mean, I guess it's a demon. It's still an odd drawing. There's a lot of dark space in this with the tail becoming the sword. Oh, there it is from the cover. Okay. Yeah, and the tail becomes the sword. Well, that is cool. I do like that, and the sword stuck through its face. Okay. It's a lot of dark space, Miura. I mean, I like it. It's cool. Is that the Count? That looks like the Count he stuck the sword in, which these are all of the demons from the very beginning of the story. I don't know how Casca knows about them in her dream, because these were around Guts during the Black Swordsman arc that she wasn't there for, Miura, but I digress. Whatevs. Let's take this opportunity to retrieve the casket while the enemy is under assault by Guts. I guess the Count's demon was there too, weren't they? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? I'm not going to argue with Miura about it. Otherwise, he's liable to demolish it himself. Yeah, it's that bird again. Birdman! It's going after Guts. Again, if this is how we do it, these two fighting in this part of the story, I'll take it, because what else are they going to do? He's going to fire the cannon. Oh my God. Oh. Wow. And then it burst out his eye. Oh. I mean, this is exactly how it's going to be if they fought in real life, so why do it twice? Just do it here and not in real life. Oh my God. There is also something slightly phallic about the sword coming out of his tail too, but whatevs. All right, and they're like, get the casket. Yeah, like, while they're battling, let's go. Oh my God. But all of them, they're coming here. We're out of protective measures. Oh my God. Well, what are we going to do now? Oh, well. One remains within the memories you've cherished all along. Flora, you came here as a trump card. You came here as a trump card, girl. What? What? Mistress. Flora's like, is that old hoe Danan still in charge? Wow. Didn't I say we can meet again in dreams? You've done well to come this far, Shirk. As your teacher, I'm very proud. And now I must bestow a blessing upon my dearest student. Danan reminded me a little bit of Flora. I wonder if, she obviously looked young like this when she was originally on Elfhelm. I wonder if her leaving Elfhelm made her age faster, maybe? I don't know. Or if you don't age as often on Elfhelm or as quickly. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful shot. And then she's like, I'll protect you while you all push it up there against the demons. Go to the fragment. It also kind of looks like an embryo. So is the baby going to be the final fragment? Like her getting back her memories of her baby? Man, if Flora had been there in the eclipse, we wouldn't have had these problems. There it is. Yes, that's the baby. Okay. Oh, dear me. Place this beneath the casket. Oh, there we go. Oh, man. Before his glow up. Oh. Awakening. We're already getting into this. What? This doesn't feel like it's taken any time at all. Oh, my God. A monster, but it's just like a baby. I'm glad that Shirk is like, that looks like a fetus. Like everybody says it's a monster, and Shirk is like, no, I looked at books. I don't know why the final fragment has this form, but be prepared. Before, when I was nearly pulled into the Berserker armor, I caught a glimpse of Guts' memories. I'd just as soon never witness them again. What we're about to see is a mad feast. Keep your mind well guarded. And the thing that's crazy is Farnace has been through moments that were creepy like that, so she's probably going to be affected by it. Oh, wow. Yep. Wow, and there's the baby. Oh, and all of the others. And the God hand up there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. This is what broke Casca. The main cause. Yeah, all of that. Oh, ew. And then you can see Femto's eyes. So, I mean, if you're going in order, there was the guy that got his head scalped, all of the demons, the eyeballs everywhere, Judo's death. Well, shout out to Judo. Glad you made the cut. Oh my God. And all of that, like all these bodies everywhere. And then Guts, yeah. Guts fighting through Femto's eyes. Oh, did Pippin and Corcus not make the cut? Joking. Don't be overwhelmed. Don't lose sight of yourself. Yeah, how disgusting. It comes flowing in Casca's dream. Ugh. Inarticulate, a mind torn asunder. Wow. And to be able to see her seeing Guts with his arm out. I'm glad you can't see Femto except for the bottom of his face. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. And all the parts and pieces. I like how her arm is just so unnaturally, like, thrown aside there. Like, it's bent unnaturally that way. Miura, this is insanely tasteful. Where was this in volume 14? Where was this 20 years ago? Oh my God. This heart with the thorns all around it. The final fragment is a heart. If we return this to the doll in the casket, well, just a moment, something's wrong. This form it's in, chances are it carries an anathema, a curse. Something terrible will happen if we return it to the doll. I was careless, me of all people. I was so preoccupied with restoring Casca's sanity that I failed to consider it. An experience so terrifying, if Casca were to retain both her memory and her sanity, it would mean an unimaginable agony for her. Instead, it pushed her beyond her breaking point. This is what he meant. I mean, yes, that is true. But I guess this is, and again, we talk about this in the video, a lot of commentary from the volumes over time as I've been reading with my critiques of Miura and Casca's situation is they're like, well, her mind was broken by what happened to her. And when something traumatic happens like that, it would break your mind. And the thing about it is a lot of these comments come from people that, no offense, don't have that experience. So they don't have a place of reference. They're just speaking by what they think because they've read the story. But, you know, a lot of people that have had experiences similar to Casca's, similar to my own, have said, no, this is, you live with it and you keep moving. But, you know, and some people have found a lot of solace in, you know, the way that Miura talks about darkness and overcoming it through Guts. My whole thing was, with this whole thing with the curse, I'm like, people who have been assaulted, yeah, you have that curse around your heart the rest of your life. It will never go away. But does that mean that you can't have your sanity? And does that mean that because you're in unfathomable agony, you should just not be sane or have a mind? That's not the way the world works. That's not the way that trauma works, honestly. So I'm like, what we gonna do? But we'll see what Miura has planned. Oh. Oh my gosh, Guts. And Guts keeping Femto from getting to it. Oh my gosh. And getting to them. Oh, the light coming from Femto's like mouth is so creepy. Oh no. Oh, don't toss him. Oh, don't toss him away. No. Oh. If we miss this chance, we won't have another. You're afraid, aren't you? Even when you know how helpless you are in the dark. Oh, and then we cut back to Farnesse's story. There are times when you cower, unable to move, and there's nothing you can do on your own. That's why, like he did for me, this time for my own reasons, I'm going to drive away your darkness. Because I don't want to look back on the days I traveled with Casca and you, mistress, and everyone else as meaningless. So what are you going to do? Yes. The corridor of dreams, our whole journey, rather, has been about this from the start. Okay. Good. Don't give her back her heart just because, you're worried of what it'll do for her. I like the idea that Farnese is like, we'll be there for you no matter what. I would like for Guts to have been involved in that too, but he's fighting Femto, so he really doesn't, he is taking part in that in a sense. But yeah, this whole story has been about them overcoming each of their own separate horrible darknesses and finding light within each other. That's been the whole ragtag story of Berserk from the start. And there's the doll. Oh. Her using where the brand is as a door. Shut up. I'm sure you'll get to see him. Now, is she talking about the baby or about Guts? Probably the baby. Oh. And she waved her little arm. Well, that was a lot less traumatic than I thought it was going to be. I thought that journey back to the eclipse was going to be horrifying, but I guess maybe Miura learned his lesson, was like, you guys have seen that enough, right? You guys have seen that enough of that, haven't you? Okay, cool. Wow. And then Femto just disappears. I don't know how to feel about that, honestly. I mean, I love the message, which we've all kind of known, about everybody being at their lowest point in the darkest of darknesses, hitting rock bottom, and then through helping each other and the power of Nakama, we've come back up and, understood ourselves and made ourselves better and learned to live with others and all that good stuff. I'm really surprised that it's already here and it just happens. I'm like, you spent 20 years building up to this chapter, and then it's like, boop, here you go. I don't know if I wanted Guts to fight Griffith longer or for Guts to be more involved in this process. I mean, I love Farnese's story. Don't get me wrong. Farnese's story has had everything to do with Guts and Casca this entire series, and it's so good for her character. It's just like, Guts gets the scraps. At least at this point. Maybe not. Maybe there'll be something else. And then Casca. She looks very cute there. There's something off about her there. I don't know I don't know what it is. I think it's because Miura is making her lips look very pouty and sensual, and she looks kind of like doll-like there. I think that's what it is. But I guess that's her waking up. It just happens. I wasn't expecting us to already be here and it'd be like done in like before I figured at least the whole volume would be this, but on the sun-dappled ground. Okay. I'm like, girl, are you going to avert from guts again? What are we doing? Oh, welcome back, Ivalera. Welcome back. You did well on your long journey. It's been a mere day for us. Wow. But it must have been a harsh months, perhaps years in that dream. I remember each of you. That girl, Elaine. Everything she saw and felt now rests within me. So were you remembering everything from the time? She looks a lot... Does her style... Maybe it's the way Miura draws her. Her eyes look much more cat-like than I feel like they used to. It's good to meet you, Farnese Shirk Ivalera. Thank you for taking care of me as Elaine for so long. We didn't really call her Elaine, but you keep saying that, Casca. She spoke! You can just call me Casca. And I like to call you Farnese Shirk and Ivalera. Well, I guess. Well, sure, I don't mind. How do you do, Casca, ma'am? The strength and color of her odd are completely different now. I don't know how to feel. Is she going to want to like go after Griffith? Is she going to want to go after the baby? She's probably going to want to go after the baby. The Casca who traveled with us and Guts' companion, the Casca who was likely a warrior, are two different people. Casca, ma'am, what is the current state of your memory? Well, it's a strange feeling. I feel like I just woke up from a long and deep sleep. I was dreaming through the girl Elaine of her journey with you all. I had no thoughts or feelings. I was just watching vaguely from a distant darkness. You being present in front of me, it's as if the inhabitants of the dream appeared in reality, one being a witch with an elfin toe, and these surroundings suggest this is still a dream. Well, it's real, or at least we are. But what happened when I fell asleep is so muddled. I can barely remember setting out to rescue Griffith, and past that, nothing. It's like I'm still half asleep. Well, that's not I guess she doesn't have all of her memories. Interesting. So she doesn't remember anything that happened between rescuing Griffith and now, but she kind of remembers vaguely the rest of them. Oh, shit. Do you remember Guts? Oh. Oh. Okay. I mean, I'm really glad she had that reaction. I wasn't expecting that when she came back. I expected that she'd have all of her memories of all the trauma that happened to her. And I don't know if Miura's just like, you get a pass. We're not going to make you remember any of that. Okay. So this is exactly what Guts would want, right? Maybe? Oh, big trouble, Shirk. Looks like we went and woke up the final boss. Ignore it, your peril girl. Are you done saying hello, elf ruler? Danan. Oh, she likes Danan. Oh. And now, at the end of your long journey, you go to reunite with one who is dear. This is my small gift to you. Because that dull traveling get-up isn't especially romantic. What is this? What? Is she gonna go a Little Mermaid and make Casca look like Ariel coming out of the water? What? What? I feel like I can't trust this story because it doesn't feel quite like Miura anymore. I shouldn't be complaining, but it's such a knee-jerk. What? She went to like Victoria's Secret and got her like sexy lingerie on so her and Guts can go make love when she finds him? What? Oh, it's lovely. It doesn't look like Casca at all. I mean, even what? I'm a soldier, I insist. Dresses in me, it looks good on you. Show no mercy. You're beautiful like a dark elf princess. This doesn't feel like Berserk. I'm so dumbfounded. I really wish she'd kept the rags on and her and Guts could have, like, she could have came out and it wouldn't have been like, here, I'm ready for you to make love to me, sir. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know what to do. With each step I take, I recall them vividly. All the Band of the Hawk stuff, yes. Those sad, beloved days. The evidence that I am me, Casca. And the days when I was Elaine, unable to think or feel. Looking up from below the water's surface. Oh, there's the baby, yeah. And yet deep within there was a faint voice. There's someone I want to see. I mean, I am so torn because I love the black and white motif of her in the angelic dress coming out like Ariel out of the water in The Little Mermaid, like it's a Disney princess fairy tale, and then Guts in the black outfit. I mean, it's very romantic, but also it doesn't feel like Casca. It feels like dolling her up, I guess is the way to put it. Like she's dolled up, and that's not Casca at all. That's not the warrior princess that's not the warrior woman that he loves. He didn't like Casca because she was a princess. He liked her because she was intelligent. He didn't like her because she was this feminine princess doll. He liked her because she was this badass warrior. So it just feels, it would be like, I don't know what it would be like. I'm so torn. I like Shirk and Farsi are like, should we be here? Oh, is she going to remember when everything bad happened? Oh, is now when she's going to remember everything bad? Oh, were we about to have something nice and romantic and now she's going to remember the eclipse? And we're going to torture Guts. Oh, now we're going to do that. It was too good to be true. Miura wasn't going to let us go with it. No, we have to see Griffith with his bones showing. Of course we do. Oh my God, shit. Miura, you mother trucker. It was, you set us up. This was all baiting. You were like, you thought this wasn't Berserk anymore. Oh my God, you son of a bitch. Damn it! Right when he shows up, why? Damn it. Jotun? Are we going somewhere else? Oh, you mother trucker. Oh, you're joking. Oh, you're kidding. Oh my God. Oh, there's like human skins that have been flayed out into these and corpses and all this stuff and things being eaten. Oh my God. We are going to another chapter. We are, aren't we? Mother trucker. Oh my God. What? What has this thing got? Like, it's got like a boat for a hat. It's got like wooden anchors and there's like plates and a mace. That one's got like a little witch's hat that's like the top of a house that's been skewered by a corpse. Oh. Son of a bitch! I've never had the wool. The rug pulled out so hard from under me. Son of a bitch. Why has Guts got to be the curse around Casca's heart? Why? Why, Miura? Why? I do like that the loincloth on this one is somebody's actual armor. Are they giants? What? Oh, well, shit! Who gives a fuck about you? Why? Miura! No! I mean, oh, look! Oh, look! It's Mantis Man and Zod. Zod looks great. Zod looks wonderful, by the way. He looks very nice. He looks great. Everyone else, hi, how you doing? There's Mother Trucking Griffith. Is Griffith mad because Rickert left and he's going to take all of his anger out on these guys? And there's all the other apostles there. Are there new apostles arriving with this group? Are there new ones? Because I recognize Grunbeld and Loki and Irvine. And then are there new ones that are included too? Have other people swore the oath? Look, Miura, I'm glad you want to show us these demon battles. I really am glad that you think oh, that one has like the Band of the Hawk thing as a mace, which is kind of interesting. But they're all wearing like the swords and plates and stuff from the Band of the Hawk as well. Miura, why did you interrupt with this? Why? You're torturing us. This is literal torture. You're literally torturing us with this. This part of Miura, there's more eyes blopping out. This part here, look, I'm sure there are so many Berserk fans that they just like this. They just enjoy this. And it is great artwork. Do not get me wrong. I enjoy the artwork quite a bit. But having said that, I don't care about this part of the story at all. There's no dialogue. It's just demons fighting demons. It does not appeal me in the very least. I just look at this and it's just mindless. It's just schlock. It's just gunk on a page. It's beautifully illustrated. I'm sure it took him a week to draw this. And I hate that I feel that way about it. But I'm like, you just had us, Miura. And now you're going back to this wordless garbage that I don't care about. Oh, look, it's Laban and the others. And look what they've been doing. The same damn thing they've been doing for the last 20 years in this manga in real time is riding on these damn horses with lances. And I'm like, Miura, if I've seen one double spread of horses going across a page, I've seen 1,000 at this point. We're back to the story. You could have this double spread that's just eating up page space in what he has to do for a chapter. You could have done in a quarter of a panel. You could have done in a quarter of panel, this same shot, moved on. But instead, he just eats up pages. That's why the pacing in this manga can be a nightmare. Because I'm like, you're wasting too much time and space on these scenes that we've seen 1,000 times before. We know what's happening. Move on. Son of a bitch. Yeah, like that, you wasted 2.5 pages when all it did was walking over a damn thing. Okay, Mule. If they catch us, we're finished. They'll pluck their heads off. Oh, that's Sonia. Okay. And Laban. Oh, no, that's Mule. I realize that's Sir Laban. Who'd ever allow these man-eating savages? Oh, and then Sonia tells him to move over. Again. Oh, no. Griffith's the savior. These savages. Honestly, Mule has such close calls. Lord Griffith, the heart of the enemy's will is east of the battlefield atop a hill. A path has already been cleared. But be careful, an ominous shadow lurks in the grove behind the hill. Griffith's just out to subjugate everybody and get rid of anyone who's possibly in his way. And I would normally be like, okay, but Miura, if you're going to waste a chapter where you give us this same shit we've been seeing the last how many volumes? Yeah. Oh my God. It's a bunch of Hydra. Except we've seen this monster previously when they showed the other monsters coming out of the Astroworld, so we know it exists. But cool. A Hydra. Oh my God. It looks like 1,000,000 Fief Lords. At least Zod looks good. He looks great there. What? Oh no! The Hydra! the Hydra trying to eat at him, but no, he just tears him apart. I feel like, did his readers just be like, we're bored of the Casca shit, Miura, give us some more battle scenes? And he was like, fine, I guess if this is what you want, I'll give you a chapter of it. Miura. Like, neat. I'm not fanboying over these monsters because there's no, again, Miura, if you want me to care about these creatures and these apostles despite their cool designs, I gotta know backstory on them. I have to know what their character is to appreciate them. And instead you're like, look how cool they are. Aren't they super cool? The Arankars in Berserk had more backstory than any of these apostles. I'm just saying. But, I mean, everybody gives Miura a pass because he can draw really good. Everybody gives him a pass because he makes really cool artwork. But, bless it be, we could have done this entire chapter in 2 pages. We could have gotten through this story arc in 2 pages. Oh, Griffith has been practicing his rodeoing. He's gotten up on one knee on this horse. That was a chapter of nonsense. Oh no! Who could have predicted that Griffith would have won this battle except every reader from page 1? Miura! If this volume ends when I turn this page, I swear to you all, I will scream. Oh, thank God. But we're not going back! We're not going back to Guts and him! Oh! Damn it. Damn it. I guess somebody's going to be like, well, when Griffith's in his battle armor like this, he looks an awful lot like Femto. Yes, of course he does. We know that. But look, his horse, his magnificent steed, they killed him, and there's Zod looking all surprised, as if he's not been doing this the last how many volumes? Son of a bitch. What, did Miura give him like a bulge? Did Miura give Griffith a bulge? Miura, I love you, but what is your obsession with drawing Griffith? Why? Oh, and then Zod and Grumbelt are like, yes, awesome. His 2 right, he has like a fire dragon on one arm and a lion bear on the other. I've slain the king of Jotnar, or Jotnar. Convey what I'm seeing to all on the battlefield. Oh, so everybody can see. So Sonya's kind of like Shirk, that she just shows everybody through the transmission. Our leader has settled things personally. Victory is ours. Ugh, they've all drank the Kool-Aid, damn it. Again. I'm so curious for those of you that were reading this in real time. Did this bother you? Because if I were a reader and it was taking months and months, that last chapter, if I had waited 3 months after that whole deal with Casca screaming, and you just gave me a bullshit chapter of Griffith battling this no-name man from nowhere's land that means nothing, and you made me wait another couple of months after that for another chapter of a no-man land with no-name people who mean nothing, and it's taken up half this space, I would have been furious. I would have been like, Berserk, I think I'm good for a while. You come back and get me when you're doing something important. Because, and I hate to say that because the artwork is beautiful, but it is just busy work. This is fluff. This is like when someone tells you your essay has to be 500 words long and you really only had 100 words of content and you're like, I gotta stretch it out to 500 words. I'm like, just get on with it. Just quit. The difference is, it's like I give Tite Kubo a lot of grief when he was finishing when he was finishing Bleach originally, because he was going through a lot. Granted, he had some issues. I understand that, but a lot of white space was wasted in chapters. And as a reader, I was so frustrated because week after week, I was literally defending him in the forums, being like, "It's fine, it's not that bad," and everybody was like, "This is shit." And so this is the polar opposite of that in terms of, instead of just white space, there's stuff everywhere. It's beautifully drawn, But at this point, not only have we seen it so many times, it's almost cliche, but it's meaningless. It's just pretty garbage. Like on a screen. It's just beautifully illustrated nothingness. Thank God. That was a waste of 5 pages. Let us return to the city where your loved ones await. And Mule and them were like, it's a soothing sight no matter how many times I see it. Bleh. To be able to return to those we love no matter what. There's no better news for us as soldiers. Oh yes, how true indeed. But that doesn't mean it's okay to chase glory and expose precious young lives to danger. Oh, I know that. I'm like, what is this, Sesame Street? What? But for now, those monsters that pose a threat to the Eastern Highway region have been wiped out. It isn't much, but we've finally recaptured some territory. Indeed. But acquiring territory and maintaining it are not the same. Even if we settle and farm this land, monsters might return and attack. A few troops stationed here couldn't contend with that. The war demons are powerful, but their numbers are limited. Well, that's true, but... Well, Lord Griffith, up there. It's up there on over that hill. Oh, good work, Sonia. Oh, hee. A touchstone for solving a problem. What? Griffith looks a lot different there, too. Griffith looks a lot younger there. Maybe it's just Miura's style of drawing is changing, but what's this touchstone for solving the problem? Oh, is it like Stonehenge? It is like Stonehenge, an ancient ruin. Put these where they once were. What? He is something of a stronghold. At some point, we took this site for granted. I can't think of a more reliable comrade with whom to risk my life. Ugh, Miura. A corridor of stone pillars. We can use this. Notify all forces. Prepare for a dawn withdrawal. Gather in 2 columns at the base of these hills. Furthermore, war demons are to revert to humanoid form and put on their equipment. They'd get stuck in that form. What? What are you all talking about? What? All forces forward. Be sure not to lose sight of the one in front of you. Oh, why specifically between the pillars? Could it be some victory ceremony or something? I don't know. He's going to make like a warp whistle. Is he going to make a warp whistle to go back and forth? Like a warp pipe tunnel? Like boop, boop, boop. Like Mario to go back and forth? Oh, yeah. It's literally like a warp pipe. Oh, okay. Oh, it's part of the tree. Oh, the world twin tree. We are now galloping through the branches of the world twin tree. Okay. So just like they were talking about going through the different celestial pipelines, they're traveling that way too. Well, of course Griffith would want to make all these pipelines to travel all over the place. Leave Elfhelm alone. Stay here and do your nonsense. There's no monsters to fight in Elfhelm, okay? Uh-huh. And then you magically arrived back home. Would you look at that? Ugh. It's so cringy whenever Mule and Laban are like, we're just doing such great work, such good work for the people, indeed. I'm like, what? Okay. Unbelievable. If we return to Falconia, this isn't a dream. We rode to the sky in the blink of an eye. After subduing the Jotnar, the hawk performs yet another miracle. The Hawk of Light has created a new legend. We were witness to it. No, the band of the Hawk accomplished this great feat with him. I've grown accustomed to the bazaar since the Kushan invasion, but I never did envision the day I'd ride the sky. It means that if you ally with him, there'll be no lack of surprises waiting for you. Oh, that it does. Oh, please, how can you say that now? Being with Lord Griffith means having a part in a legend. Oh, agreed. That's so true. But a sky path, that's amazing. We can dispatch troops from the capital anywhere in an instant, or even evacuate in the other direction. Right, well, the whole thing is dispatching troops in an instant and evacuating. It'll be a miracle, no, a logistical breakthrough. It won't work out that simply. The only ones who can come and go on the branches without getting lost are Lord Griffith and myself. Oh, well, that at least sets some boundaries to it, so you can't go without them. She has a lot of confidence to say it'd be her. Is that so? Yes, it's so, unless you have special perception like we do. You'll get lost in the countless forking branches and ends up somewhere unexpected and really mess up. You'll wander out to sea or deep into the earth. Even so, a march is possible with me in the lead. If we set up the ruins buried here and there, it'll prove quite useful for future military movements. Oh, that's a bit scary. Yeah, no. Oh, son of a bitch! Really? Of course, that'll mean relying on my medium's powers heavily. Leave it to me. I'd race to the ends of the earth if you called. But for now, a triumphant return with the morning sun. Careful, girl. He sexually assaulted a woman to death last time. Hate for that to happen to you. What? What? You mean we have one more volume to go of Miura's work? Ugh. I guess anytime I bitch about the Griffith chapters, everyone's like, it's so evil and what he's doing is so bad. But then, like, we never see anything happen because of it. It's just him getting away with shit. And everybody's like, it's all building up to something, I promise. My thing is, Griffith doesn't seem concerned at all about Rickert leaving. And I guess I wanted to see some chink in the armor, some little crack that he was bothered, but he seems so unbothered. So it's just like, and I don't like Sonia at all because I'm like, I also think it's kind of something that goes back to volumes 23 and the other volumes is that it is disgusting to me that Miura lets us see Sonia feel so at ease with someone like Griffith, who is a rapist, who is a murderer, and is just like, you know, I'm like, girl, you have no clue. We just went through how many volumes of Casca, and this whole first half of this volume was Casca suffering so horribly. And that's part of it, is what got me back in volume 23, is that the person that assaulted me is happily married with kids now and has friends, and everybody's like, what a great person. And I'm like, no, they're really not. And it's just so disgusting. And it's just, I get having it in the story, but having chapters, like entire chapters you wait months and months to see devoted to him, like, I don't know. You all tell me that Miura is clearly, and I want to believe it too. I want to believe Miura believes Griffith is the ultimate evil, but to what end, you know? So I don't know. I cannot believe that we wasted 2 chapters of nonsense. Because at the end of the day, all it was the only pertinent information we got out of those last 2 chapters was they built a warp whistle, they built a warp tunnel, and only Sonia and Griffith can use it. But they might use it for military advancements. They might use it to get to Elfhelm. Who knows? But you could have explained that information in half a chapter and gotten back to the story, Miura. We didn't need all of this extra garbage. It just felt like such a waste. And you built up all of this, and then you made us you made it. As soon as she was like, I don't remember anything bad that happened, I'm like, that's gonna all come back. But I was like, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe you're doing this weird route. And they built it all up to be this like weirdly romantic thing that didn't match Berserk's style at all. And I was like, what is happening? And then of course it's like, oh, Miura, you would. My thing is with the whole the curse around the heart, the black thorns around the heart. The baby has to come in at some point. If that baby does not come back in volumes 41 or 42, I will literally scream, because you've had that damn baby as a tease. She's got her mind back. I figured when she got her mind back, she was gonna go through a large chunk of the story trying to reconcile with that. But if she shoves Guts away again, I'm like, Miura, you got to have them talk. You got to have him talk to her. You've got to have him communicate. Guts has grown so much. He's got to communicate with her. You've got to make it happen because she has her mind now. She can think for herself. She can communicate. You've got to have it happen. And as far as like I kept wanting it to be like, if you're going to be really romantic with it, have Guts I was waiting for like the dog Guts to like rip the thorns off her heart, but I realized you can't do that because it'd probably break it. But I kept wanting him to lick her wounds or something. You had to go back to the wounds chapter or something like that. I'm like, the fact that the next volume is the last one Miura did, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm like, Miura, you wasted so much time on those Griffith chapters. You could have been giving us other content. What are you doing? The thorns around the heart, them treating it like a curse, and why they didn't originally want to give her heart back. Yeah, it sucks. And guess what? If you've been through a traumatic incident like that, it's going to suck forever, to a sense. But you have the ability as people to move forward. I guess that's a big part of that bothers me still, is that you have a character, granted, and it gets complicated because you have a character like Guts who went through a similar trauma to Casca. Was it on the scale of Casca's? No. Lots of people like to reference it. They're like, well, Guts was assaulted, but it was nowhere on the scale of Casca. At all. Nowhere near. But then people are like, well, it doesn't matter what scale it was on. It still happened. So, okay, let's go with that logic. You have Guts who went through that same trauma. Guess what? He still is dealing with it. He's struggle bussing through it, but he's getting through it and he's making connections with other people. He still loves Casca. All this stuff here. You've got to let Casca be able to do the same thing. You can't, and that's been my biggest problem with Miura this whole series, is that Casca was kind of just convenienced into losing her mind when I'm like, you had a guy go through something similar, but he's fine. But granted, it's not on the same scale as Casca's, obviously. And her trauma of losing her kid would be enough to send her over the edge. Obviously, I would think so. But it just... I know it's going to take time for her to trust Guts again, and she's going to be reminded of what happened in the past, and it's going to be a thing. But I'm like, Miura, we have gone through how many volumes of her being scared of Guts and her withdrawing from him. You gotta change it up, son. You gotta change it up, and you got next volume to do it. If we spend next volume with them, they're obviously going to have to go through some trials and tribulations, and it's going to be bad before it's, it's always darkest before the dawn sort of thing. But yeah. I still think Griffith's whole storyline and all those characters, they're just boring to me. And I know that I've said that in the past, but like with Laban, when Laban had a character, I was like, okay, let's go. But now he's just like, Griffith's just amazing, isn't he? And Mule doesn't have a character. He's just, Griffith's just amazing, isn't he? And Sonia's like, Griffith's just amazing, isn't he? Like, it's like Griffith sucked all their character away. And now they're just little blind Kool-Aid drinking followers and they have no personality or depth to them. And it's annoying. And I'm like, get out of here. Get me back to these flawed characters that I genuinely am caring about. Ugh! I really want to hear your thoughts below, because I really liked Casca's journey here in these last two volumes and the journey to get Casca back. There are only a couple things that I was like, wait a minute about. One was that I really wish that we could have gotten, I guess, to have Guts be the center point of all this, which Gus is going to be the center point of the next volume. So maybe that's the reason why. But my thing was, it felt like it was so abrupt putting Casca back together. And I'm like, if you sacrificed us with more Casca content so we could go back to that bullshit with the monsters and Griffith because your fan base wanted you to go back to it. Oh, honey, no. I was like, no. because I feel like we could have done so much more. Like, you built this up for 20 years, Miura. 20 years. When did that eclipse happen? The eclipse happened, I've got it wrote down here. That was volume 1997. That was volume 39 was 2017. 20 years you have built up for your fan base getting Casca's mind back. 20 years. People were born in that time span. People died in that time span. And you mean to tell me that you spent all that time up, and when we got to the very end here, I mean, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I like it. I'm just like, for everything we worked to get here, it happens. And I was left wanting more of that journey to get back to her. It almost feels too abrupt. It feels like we just suddenly got there. But now here's the thing. Next volume is probably going to be like, yeah, that was all sunshine and rainbows. Here's the reality of getting your memories back and that double-edged sword of it. So here you go. You all wanted this. Now what? So I'm gonna keep my judgment reserved. I really liked these opening chapters and I wanted more of them. I would have scrapped the last 2 chapters of this volume if you could have gave me 2 more chapters of Casca's like restoration. If you could have given me 2 more chapters of that, of Griffith versus Guts in this, because that the Griffith versus Guts scene, it's not going to be any different if it happens in real life. How could it be? Except the baby's there, and that's Griffith's flaw. I mean, how's it going to be any different? It's not. So that's why I'm like, that's kind of why these chapters illustrated why I don't really want Guts versus Griffith in the end. Because I don't think it's going to be any different than how it was here. And it's just, again, violence against violence. Monsters against monsters. The same bullshit. Like, you can do something different. I feel bad for Mori. I feel so bad for Mori. I'm like, Mori, you're lucky that he got this out. You're lucky he got to this point. Because if this hadn't been illustrated and Miura had passed, oh, honey, I don't know. How would you have done it? He probably would have been like, let's scrap the Griffith chapters. Talk about that in that video. Anyway, I can't believe I have 2 more volumes in the guidebook left. It's going by way too fast, and I don't know what to think about it. I really enjoyed Tiny Casca and the little Wriggle. She, like, her little limbs and stuff look like blood and stuff. I really liked that. That was great. It's going to be really hard for me not to go ahead and read the final volume, but I'm going to wait another chapter, I suppose. But anyway, it's fine. Anyway, oh my God, I'm very curious to know your thoughts about this volume down below. It took us 20 years to get here. We still have 1 more volume to go. Was the journey worth it? So I'm curious. I'm glad we're here. Dear God, we could have gotten here sooner. But anyway, I'll be back very soon. With volume 41. Damn, the last volume with Miura of Berserk. I'll see you there.